What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Telltale Gaming Channel. My name's AJ Gills. How y'all doing? It is absolutely impossible for me to get this show up on time. This is the weekly show. As you can see, I usually try to have this up by noon on Saturdays. If you're looking at the clock down at the corner of my screen, I'm recording this about 12 hours late. Now, I had a really busy work week, so I spent most of my day sleeping, hanging out, just kind of relaxing, getting my head on right. I'm probably gonna stay up all night, do a whole bunch of recording and whatnot. If you're new to this show, basically what I do, I take video game news from around the web, mostly IGN this week, and really there wasn't a lot of big news. I mean, maybe some early stuff. You know, there's some stuff from the kind of spilled over into this week from the Walking Dead situation, which obviously we'll be talking about. But other than that, really not a lot going on this week. Words are hard. When I sit here, I talk about them, I give my takes, we read some articles. Sometimes we watch videos. I really didn't see much. I think I saw maybe some new Assassin's Creed Odyssey gameplay, but with that being about a week out, I'm just gonna hold back on it and wait till the game launches on the 5th. Anything else? I think that about covers it. As always, links to every article and timestamps of when topics are covered will be down in the description if you'd like to skip around. If not, let's just dive right into the news. Our first article coming by way of IGN. Colin Stevens is the writer. The Walking Dead, the final season, pulled from sale at Telltale's request. The article reads, only 2 of the 4 planned episodes of The Walking Dead, the final season, were released when developer Telltale requested that the game be pulled from sale from various online storefronts. As reported by The Verge, the GOG page for the final season has removed the option to buy the season or its released episodes, including the note, and I quote, Telltale has requested a temporary pause of sales of The Walking Dead final season. For all up-to-date Telltale news, please refer to their official Twitter page, end quote. Episode 3 was scheduled to release on November 6th, and episode 4 would have concluded the series on December 18th. That is a really fast turnaround for Telltale. I've never seen them launch episodes that fast, like month to month to month. I mean, and as a guy who's loved Telltale for the longest time, that's really quick to me. Now, I think we cover this later in the article, but a lot of people at the time were saying, and I don't think we have any like official statement as to why they pulled the games from sale. My guess, and I'm willing to put money that this is the exact reason, is that they didn't want people to purchase these the full season or these last 2 episodes or anything like that when they cannot promise on delivering 3 and 4 yet, or episodes 3 and 4, because we still do not have an official word on whether or not episodes 3 and 4 are happening. I believe Telltale released on Twitter last week that there are interested parties looking at releasing the final 2 episodes, but as far as we know right now, they haven't, they don't have an exact deal on that. So it makes perfectly good sense that, like, look, we don't want to sell the season pass or these episodes because that's just going to be a pain in the ass when we have to refund everything if it doesn't happen. Well, one, I'd like to say if I don't get a refund, if they don't release 3 and 4, I'm going to be uber pissed because I should be getting a refund because I didn't get what I purchased. But I'm not surprised to see this happen. I think this is. Sorry, my cat's walking around behind me. I don't know what he's doing. But no, it's not surprising to see this happen. I totally get it. I think this was the smart play for them. I don't get why people were surprised when this happened. Because as soon as I heard that, I kind of looked at people and went, what? And then as soon as I thought about it, I'm like, oh, no, it makes perfectly good sense. And I can also say, if you already own the season pass, like I do, you could still download the second episode if you haven't already. I kind of downloaded it a couple days ago. I still haven't played it, actually. I really need to play the second episode. Let's see here. Though no note was included, the season was also removed from Steam, the PlayStation Store, and Xbox Live Marketplace, though the season pass is still available for purchase on the Nintendo Switch eShop. There's currently no news on when these 2 episodes will return to various online marketplaces, or if Telltale will keep them off due to the possibility that the rest of the season won't be completed. That's I'm willing to put good money that was why they did it. The Telltale Twitter account says nothing about the recent removal. It does still have a tweet from Monday saying Telltale is looking for a way to allow the final 2 episodes to be released in some form. This follows last Friday's announcement that the majority of Telltale staff have been suddenly laid off, and almost all projects were being put on hold. As it turns out, the shuttering was the result of a failed round of financing, and one former Telltale employee has begun a class action lawsuit, which we'll cover in the next article, against his former employer for breaking labor laws. In our review, blah, blah, blah. Over formulaic and dull. You know what? I don't know. I still think the first episode of the final season was rated way too harshly. I think it got a 6.7 on IGN. I heavily disagree with that. I'd at least give it a 7. I'd at least give it a full 7. I think I scored it maybe at an 8. But I usually score the first episode at an 8 because I think that's where a lot of work goes in. And I think it was very well done. I really like the characters, the angle that they were going with this season. I really enjoyed the first episode of the season. The second episode, I think, got a 5. And like I said, I still haven't played it, so who knows? Maybe it is overly, as they say, over formulaic and dull. But I'm really interested to see where the season goes, and when I get around to it, it's just I've been extremely busy, like I said, with work and just all the releases that I just have not had a chance to get at The Walking Dead, just like I haven't gotten a chance to get at, I think it was episode 4 of The Council. But both of those will be getting played and put up on the channel presently. But yeah, like I said, not surprising to see this game pulled from the stores. I totally get it. Like I said, the thing that surprises me the most is that people were surprised by this news. Okay, next article. Ex-Telltale game employee file class action lawsuit. Article Steve Watts of GameSpot. Article reads, a former employee of Telltale Games has filed a class action complaint against the company in California federal court. The complaint alleges that the developer was obligated to provide 60 days notice of the impending termination in compliance with the state's WARN Act. Let's see here. Kotaku reports that the complaint filed by attorneys for Vernie Roberts Jr. is seeking missed wages, salaries, 401k contributions, and other compensation that would have been earned during the 60-day WARN Act period. The suit also names, and I quote, all other persons similarly situated, end quote, who could join the class actions, which could be as many as 275 employees who were fired from Telltale last week. Basically an idea of what we'll get into this, but the basic idea of the WARN Act, because I wrote a small article on the website for this, from how I understand the WARN Act, is that a company with over 75, I believe it is, full or part-time employees are required to give a 60-day notice of like a mass layoff or a mass like a relocation, a mass layoff, something like this. They're required to give a 60-day warning, hence WARN Act. I can't remember what warning fully stands for. It's something really long. But it's basically to give the employees ample time to figure out new employment or whatever, or at least that's how I, again, understand it. But obviously, this, as I think I joked with somebody and said that Telltale, the way they fired everyone was basically by changing the locks when everybody got there and the keys didn't work. They saw a note put like taped to the door just saying "Get out." And I was reading, it's like people had like hours to clean out their offices, and like it was. As far as I can tell, like this was really poorly done by Telltale, and that nobody's getting severance. And I feel bad for the developers and everybody working there. I feel bad for all the fans who aren't going to get stuff like The Wolf Among Us Season 2 and everything. But for the people running Telltale and all this, I'm sorry. I don't feel for you. I mean, you guys ran your company horribly, apparently, and. Again, if this lawsuit goes through, you kind of get what you deserve. That's a little harsh, I know. If I'm misunderstanding the WARN Act or whatever, or the situation, it's just like I said, I think their problem is just poor management. As the report notes, companies have some wiggle room with expectations to the WARN Act, such as the company is seeking to acquire new capital and can't risk the information of pending layoffs becoming public. It's unknown how many employees will join or if the lawsuit will ultimately be successful. See, I think that's their biggest problem. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying I know I'm not a lawyer or anything. I don't know this stuff 100%. If the lawsuit does go through and Telltale is liable, like I said, they did it to themselves. But I think this is going to be their biggest problem, and I think this is Telltale's biggest defense, is that the company was trying to find new ways to keep the company afloat. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm not a strict legal mind, but I don't feel bad for Telltale. That's kind of the end of my actual analysis on Telltale. I'm honestly getting a little tired of just talking about Telltale all the time. It's just I was on a whatever. The closure was sudden and surprised employees who were left with no severance and only 9 days of remaining health benefits. The reported rationale for the lack of severance was that this was being classified as a business closure rather than partial layoffs. Telltale has now said that The Walking Dead, currently in its final season, may continue with, and I quote, potential partners, end quote, which could raise legal questions about the studio closure. That's all. Again, that's all going to have to be decided from a legal standpoint. That's not my area of expertise. I like I said, I don't feel bad for Telltale. I was on a radio talk show earlier this week, talking about this stuff, and honestly, like I said, I'm kind of tired about talking about Telltale now. I'm kind of waiting for any like really big news, but I don't know. Hopefully, Telltale keep their heads down. Hopefully, either we'll get refunds or the final 2 episodes of The Walking Dead, and they'll just kind of go out. I am kind of hoping that somebody will pick up their properties, like just because I want The Wolf Among Us Season 2, but I highly doubt it'll happen. Just not at this point. I highly doubt it. Alright, moving on. Next article. Fallout 76 beta dates have been revealed. Article Jesse Wade, IGN. Bethesda announced Thursday the release dates of Fallout 76's beta ahead of the full game launch on November 14th. The beta will first arrive on Xbox One on Tuesday, October 23rd, and 1 week after for PlayStation 4 and PC, Tuesday, October 30th. Bethesda wants players to literally, and I quote, break the game, and will not have servers running 24/7 for the beta due to that. Instead, the servers will be up during specific time frames so they can get as many players online as possible, all at the same time to full test their systems. The game is set to be up anywhere between 4 to 8 hours. After that, immediate fixes and updates will be made, and that will continue daily up until a few days after the actual game launch. Updates on when the servers Updates on when the servers will be running will be posted on the official Fallout and at Bethesda Studios accounts on Twitter, and as well as Bethesda forums and status page. All right, I'm just gonna be honest here. Who actually gives a shit about this game? Anybody watching, please tell me who actually cares about Fallout 76. I mean, like, I keep seeing these websites get excited about this and sending articles and everything out there, and I'm just like, I can't get excited. I do not care one lick about this game. I just do not. I mean, I've never really wanted a Fallout MMO. Let's be honest. This is Elder Scrolls, Elder Scrolls Online, but Fallout. This is it's kind of being shipped to us as like, oh no, it's just another Fallout game. No, it's really just Elder Scrolls Online, but Fallout. I mean, there's some cool ideas in here that, and you know, I'm going back and forth on whether or not I really want to give it a shot. But all in all, I personally do not give two craps about this game, and I'm just so curious. Like, does anybody out there watching, anybody really like it, or are they really excited about this, especially with everything else that's supposed to be coming out this fall? All players will start the beta at the same time within the safe confines of Vault 76 on Reclamation Day. Bethesda said to be prepared for issues that will arise with many they already know about, such as country roads being under construction, and many they don't know about and need... Wait, country roads being under construction... I don't know. And many they don't know about and need player feedback to fix for launch. Yeah, I don't know this under construction thing. That's interesting. Fallout 76 tips for multiplayer, wasteland survival, character builds, and more will be released in the coming weeks before the beta begins. And just the general closing from IGN. Yeah, again, I include this just in case there are people who really love this game. But again, I think this game, just overall, it's being hyped, and I have not met one person who is excited for this game. I've met people who are going, yeah, I'll play it. It looks cool. It's a cool idea. But I have not met one person who's just like, oh my God, I can't wait. You know, I mean, I know people who are that way for the new Assassin's Creed. People who are that way about Red Dead. Those are about the two. If you ask me, those are about the two biggest games still coming out. But I mean, I know people who are excited about the new Call of Duty. Battlefield was a little bit more contentious, but whatever. But I do not know anyone who is outright excited for Fallout 76, and I'm curious. What do you guys think about that? Yeah. All right, on to some, I guess this is big news. Again, this week has just been a week of news that just has not grabbed me. Again, like I said, I was on a radio program earlier this week, and we talked about this, and I do not care that Fortnite Cross-Platform play arrives on PlayStation 4 today in beta form. I just don't care. And honestly, article Adam Bankhurst, by the way. I know so many people who have said, oh, finally, this is great. And somebody on this program asked me, he's like, you know, why does Sony do this? You know, like, why do they allow crossplay for this one? They've been blocking it for so long. And my thing is, I think it's kind of like with Rocket League. Fortnite is free to play. So many people, it's become just a cultural phenomenon. People are so excited for it. I mean, what's Sony really have to gain from this game? I think this is just them tossing it out for here, saying, look, fine, you can play it. But I don't expect this to become the norm. I think for a lot of big multiplayer games, I think Sony's just going to keep to themselves. Just not instead of share the wealth with Microsoft, because again, I'm very honest with this. I think Microsoft has completely blown this generation. I mean, I keep seeing articles and people trying to sell Microsoft to me. It's like, Microsoft's got great games coming out in 2019, and I'm sitting here going, any of them that are cross-platform, I'm going to probably play on PS4. Like Red Dead, I'm going to play on PS4. Although I think it's being shipped more with PS4 but I always remember Red Dead as like a 360 game, but I'm going to play on PS4. I mean, just the new Metro, I'll probably play on PS4. I'm pretty much going to play every new game on PS4 that isn't an Xbox exclusive. I mean, what have been the Xbox exclusives recently? Forza? I don't give two shits about Forza. I mean, if I wanted to play a great racing game, fine, I'll go play Gran Turismo. I'm like, Sony has an answer for Forza. I mean, what else came out this year? State of Decay 2? I loved State of Decay 2, but it's not going to make me buy an Xbox if I didn't already own it. You know, and play Sea of Thieves. I don't care. I'm not going to play Sea of Thieves. What's the first big one of next year? Like I said, I'm going to play Metro on PS4. What's the next big one of 2019? It's going to be Crackdown 3. Well, that's on the 22nd, I think, along with Anthem and Metro. I really don't give two again, another series I just don't care about is Crackdown. I mean, it looks cool. I'll give it a shot, but I'm not expecting much from it. I do not get why people keep trying to sell me Microsoft. And again, I think that I'm tangenting here. The main reason why I'm saying all this stuff is just because I think Sony has no reason to share its wealth with Microsoft. I think Sony's just playing its own game. And I think this was just one of those to say, fine, just shut people up. Like I said, this is such a massive game. It's free to play. Sony doesn't really care and just kind of let people take it. You know, that's my stance on this. After months of backlash, Sony is finally allowing PlayStation 4 Fortnite players to play online with other platforms. Announced on the PlayStation blog, John Cadera, president of global CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, said that, and I quote, following a comprehensive evaluation process, SIE has identified a path towards supporting cross-platform features for select third-party content, end quote. And I quote, the first step, Cadero continues, will be an open beta beginning today for Fortnite that will allow for cross-platform gameplay progression and commerce across PlayStation 4, Android, iOS, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, Microsoft Windows, Jesus, a lot of shit, and Windows operating systems, end quote. Cadero gives no further information on other titles or the length of this beta, but acknowledges updates will be coming and that this move, and I quote, represents a major policy change for SIE, end quote. Yeah, again, I don't see this being in massive time. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm totally wrong here, but I don't see this as I don't know. I question how many like massive games. I mean, this will probably be for games that have already like come out and have already been on the market and just heavily multiplayer. I don't see this being like the big thing for Sony. I think this is going to be for older titles, not the newer ones. I don't know. Again, I could be wrong here, but like I said, I've been asked why Sony would do this, and I just sit here and go, I think Sony's just doing this to get people just to kind of shut up about it. In all honesty, I mean, hell, we still can't change our PSN names. Let's be honest with it. Come on. We all know Sony can take a lot, so for them to do this, if that's the reason, that's a lot of people were pissed. This controversy really took off when Fortnite arrived on Nintendo Switch during E3 back in June, and it was discovered that if you played even one game of Fortnite on PlayStation 4, you would not be able to carry over your existing Epic Games account to the Switch, let alone play with other consoles. Sony had very little to say regarding those ongoing issues, but did mention that they were confident that they would find a solution that would be, and I quote, understood and accepting by our game community, while at the same time supporting our business, end quote. This marks a big movement in PlayStation's stance on cross-platform play, and it will be very interesting to see where it goes from here. I doubt it'll go very far. I highly doubt that. In other Fortnite news, Season 6 is scheduled to begin Thursday, September, all that stuff. Last little thing here on Fortnite. Anybody interested? I'm thinking about just finally downloading it and just giving it a shot. If anyone's interested in watching some Fortnite gameplay, tell me, and I'll give it a shot. But I don't know. I'm still having trouble just like really getting just excited for it. I'm just kind of like looking for like a new multiplayer shooter. I'm also somewhat considering Rainbow Six Siege, but I also highly doubt I'll really start getting into that. All right. Excuse me. On to our final bit of news. Like I said, this has been a kind of a light news week. I want to end on something, I guess, kind of fun. I've just really been just enamored with Project Judge since I've heard about this, because I absolutely love the Yakuza games. We actually have a kind of an update for Project Judge that no Yakuza characters will appear in Project Judge. Yakuza studio head confirms. This is from Tokyo Game Show 2018 article. I'm going to try and get this right. Esba Krabe? I could be wrong. News from IGN Japan's Tokyo Game Show live stream further complicates the question of whether Project Judge is a Yakuza game or not. While both titles are set within a shared universe, the new game will not feature any characters from Yakuza. The newest game by Sega's Yakuza team was announced earlier this month as a, and I quote, completely different, end quote, experience. I still call bullcrap on that. Yet is based partly on the Yakuza engine. And while it is still set in Kamurocho, the fictional Tokyo district from the Yakuza games, the studio head and project lead, Toshihiro Nagoshi, there we go, told us that we will not be encountering any familiar faces as we explore the neon-lit streets as new protagonist Takeyuki Yagami. So Nagoshi did not deny that the game will be set in the same universe as Yakuza, but wants people to think about Project Judge as something new. And I quote, Project Judge's location and assets might be the same, but the gameplay and story here are drastically different, end quote, Nagoshi told IGN. See, I think that's right. Yeah, I'm still seeing a lot of similarities when you look at the trailers. When we're seeing these trailers, like we're seeing all these kind of goofy mini games. We're seeing a lot of like just dumb, over the top stuff. Like you can definitely tell this is I always have to slow down to get this company name right. Ryuga Gotoku. Yeah, Gotoku, I think is how it is. You could definitely tell it's the studio's game, because again, you see a lot of kind of similar, not themes, but it's I can't think of the same idea. Again, it's just how things are dumb and over the top at times. You see it in the combat, you see it in the mini games, you see it in this, that, the other thing. The fact that this is in Kamurocho, I wouldn't surprise me. We still have like the Sega arcades, we still have like mahjong and can play in the batting centers and all that stuff. But then we also get all this detective stuff. So yeah, it is gameplay is drastically different. I would put in air quotes, because I'm willing to bet that a lot of this is going to feel the same, but is going to also feel very different at the same time. Especially because just the way that Yagami fights, you can already tell he fights very differently from Kiryu. And I also have no doubt that the story is going to be drastically different. I mean, Kiryu's has always kind of been his stories has always kind of been a crime drama, and I think Yagami's is going to be the same way, but it's going to be from a different angle. I have a very strong feeling it's going to be another game that's going to be if we're going to look for like similar like tone, it's going to be Sleeping Dogs. I think that's going to be a very similar kind of like maybe not from like an undercover cop perspective, but it's going to be kind of like a gritty kind of crime drama, but as a detective, not as a criminal. I think it's just going to be the other side of things. God, I'm still pumped. I'm sorry. Like I said, I keep as soon as I heard about this game, I just got super excited. When asked if fans can look forward to appearances from any Yakuza characters, his answer was no, and I quote, "I wanted it to be a new game, so while the game is set in Kamurocho, no characters from Yakuza will appear in the game." He said, "It could draw people out of the new experience, so that's why I didn't want to include them," end quote. I don't understand that. I mean, I think it would have been cool to maybe see Kazuma in some way, shape, or form. We know that the Tojo clan is it the Tojo clan? Is that the main? Oh my God! Why can't I remember? Why can't I remember the name of Kiryu's clan? I think it's the Tojo clan. I think I'm correct, but for some reason that's not sounding right to me. Either way, we know that Kiryu's clan and everything is going to be referenced in the game. So I mean, I think if they're going to go that far, you might as well just include a few cameos. I don't know. I wish that we'd see some of that, but whatever. That's my opinion. I think it would be fun, and I don't think it would pull people out of this new experience or whatever, but whatever. That's their game. Producer Kazuki Hosokawa went on to say that this includes side quests as well as cameo appearances, and I quote, "The story we want to tell with Project Judge is very different from Yakuza series, so there isn't anything we can do with the Yakuza characters within Project Judge," he said. "Even if we would make cameo appearances for them, we didn't feel we could do it in a way that would satisfy the fans, so that's why we decided not to include any of the Yakuza characters this time," end quote. Project Judge is scheduled for a 2019 release in the West. Be sure to read our preview of the Japanese demo. Again, I think the game looks sweet. I think that they're going a little too far on this to say that, well, we don't want to pull people out of it or whatever. Again, they're right to do it as the developer, but I still think that's I don't know. I don't know about anyone else. It wouldn't pull me out, but I'm pumped for this, and I'm really excited for a new experience within this universe. And I think this company's going to do a great job, and we'll see it in 2019. So, all right, guys. Well, this is a pretty short week. I hope you enjoyed this show, as I hope you enjoy them all. Hopefully, I wasn't too all over the place. Just one of those days, man. I'm super scatterbrained today. Either way, I want to say, as always, thank you so much for watching. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links to all that stuff is in the description. Like, comment, not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for next time. Until then, my name's AJ Kells. This is the Untitled Game Channel. I'm out.